Hey everybody, welcome back to Greg's Grooves. Little video today where I'm going to be talking about my favorite Beach Boys album. And that description might be a little bit disingenuous because, like so many people out there, my favorite album, as in like studio album, is Pet Sounds. But there's already thousands of videos out there on Pet Sounds. A lot of channels that I very much enjoy have done Pet Sounds videos. This week, obviously Brian Wilson passed unfortunately at 82. There's no shortage of accolades that could be piled upon Pet Sounds. But I want to talk about an album, I'm going to put that in air quotes, that I've actually probably listened to more than anything else from the Beach Boys catalog in my life, and that's the compilation Endless Summer. And I know I'm not alone in probably listening to this compilation more than any one Beach Boys studio release. So this is actually my uncle and mom's copy of Endless Summer that I took from their record collection when I was probably 5 years old. And I loved the Beach Boys even at an early age, even though I was more of a British Invasion, Beatles kind of person, and then eventually The Who. There was something I always loved about the Beach Boys. My dad didn't have Endless Summer on cassette. He had a different compilation, similar. Maybe one day I'll talk about that on the channel, but I remember listening to that quite a lot. But my Endless Summer story kind of starts with college. Not that I hadn't heard all these songs before, but during college, I was traveling to and from Westchester County to Stony Brook University out in Suffolk County, Long Island. It's about an hour and 20-minute drive. And I had an older Camry that did have a CD player. And I had about like 3 or 4 CDs in the car. I had a couple mixed CDs that I made using probably LimeWire or whatever was available at the time. Sorry. And I had Pet Sounds, the CD version that had the mono and the stereo, and then I had Endless Summer. And I don't know why I went through such a Beach Boys phase, but it was the perfect album to put on when I left Westchester County, sing along to all the songs while driving somewhat haphazardly to Long Island to prepare for another week of college. And sing along is really what I did. I mean, the songs in this album are all so much fun to like try the harmonies out, try to sing Brian Wilson's falsetto, and they're just like a mix of feel-good songs, a mix of love ballads. You know, you got Surfin' Safari, but then you have Surfer Girl, so you got the upbeat joyous tempo of Surfin' Safari to the kind of downbeat sort of waltz of Surfer Girl, Catch a Wave, The Warmth of the Sun. Like the way the album was laid out track by track had this really nice flow. I probably listened to, you know, I had a habit of like listening to sides of this album, even though the CD didn't have sides. But I probably listened to the whole, like, The Girls on the Beach, Wendy. I would kind of skip Let 'Em Run Wild and then Don't Worry Baby, like, over and over on repeat. And then probably I listened to side 4 the least. Help Me Rhonda, not my favorite song. You're So Good to Me, not my favorite song. But All Summer Long is, like, the perfect end cap to this album with that, like, xylophone in the background. And this album always, this compilation I should say, always makes me think of the movie American Graffiti. You know, you see in the early to mid 70s this sort of late 50s, early 60s nostalgia, thinking about drive-ins and, you know, those old classic cars like your Chevy Bel Airs and things like that. And I always really enjoyed that culture, that kind of like pre-hippie generation, 1960s, kind of like John F. Kennedy, pre-assassination era. There's something that I really like about that whole George Lucas sort of summer thing. So I've always enjoyed the movie American Graffiti. I've always enjoyed that rock music from that era. My dad had a couple compilations, I still have them here, like the frat rock compilations from Rhino had like all those really good like early 60s tunes, like, you know, like the Swinging Medallions, Double Shot of My Baby's Love, and like Wooly Bully and stuff like that. So the Beach Boys, even though it's not that sound, it kind of fit into that zeitgeist a little bit. And I always associate this album with that era, with summer, with driving. Like it's a driving album. And I honestly think if you're a younger person who wants to understand what the Beach Boys are all about, don't start with Pet Sounds. I mean, like, you know, you're gonna go on YouTube and be like, best Beach Boys album, and they're gonna say Pet Sounds. But I think that's gonna be a little misleading as to what the Beach Boys are really about. I think if you start with Endless Summer, you'll be more on the right track. You get a really good variety of feel. You get those feel-good surfing songs. You get those beautiful love ballads. You get those melancholy Brian Wilson sort of in his own head sort of songs. You get the whole thing. So Endless Summer, maybe my favorite compilation of all time. Probably could have put it on my top 10 list that I put out a couple weeks ago, but for that, like I said, I decided to stick to studio albums. But yeah, can't go wrong. Love Endless Summer. Love the artwork. Sort of attempt at trippy late 60s, early 70s, even though this comes out in 1974. Just love it. Everything about it. And in fact, when I stop making this video, I'm going to go play it. So that's it for this time on Greg's Grooves. Catch you on the next one.